They discovered something about you and you need to hear this. The room wasn't silent anymore. Whispers had found their way into spaces that were once still. Not the usual chatter, not noise, but a vibration, a quiet knowing spreading like ripples in a pond. Something had surfaced about you, and the people who weren't supposed to know, now know. You didn't expect it to break like this. Not here. Not now. But somewhere, behind closed doors, a door cracked open. A message was seen. A conversation was overheard. And now, your name isn't just a name anymore, it's a signal. A trigger. A story waiting to be either told, or destroyed. They found the folder. It wasn't labeled clearly, that's what you believed would protect it. But the wrong hands touched the right page. They knew exactly where to look. And in that moment, everything shifted. The first person who saw it didn't react. They didn't scream, didn't rush to confront. Instead, they walked away, quiet, calculating. Not because they didn't care, but because they were deciding what to do with the truth. That silence? That pause? It's never a good sign. They kept it for days. Days that felt like a countdown. You could sense something shifting in the way people looked at you. Less casual. More alert. The laughs were lighter, the smiles controlled. And still, no one told you why. But they know now. And whether you're ready or not, that knowledge has placed you on a path you didn't plan. A path that no longer hides you. You are exposed, and the air feels different because of it. This isn't just any truth. This is the kind of truth that redefines everything. Not just about who you are, but about why you were chosen. About the role you play. About what they assumed about you, and what they now realize they were wrong about. You were never ordinary. You knew that, quietly, inwardly, without needing the world to confirm it. But the file they found? The note they read? The timestamp on the footage? That was proof. You were always more than what they labeled you. They feel threatened. Because power, when misunderstood, becomes fear in the hands of the unprepared. And now, they aren't just watching you. They're tracking you. They're questioning every conversation they had with you, replaying every moment. They thought you were naive. They thought you didn't know what was being said in the background. But what they never realized is, you were always 5 steps ahead. You let them think they were in control. Because that was part of the plan. Now it's time to step into clarity. The silence is breaking, and their whispers are turning into action. There's a gathering happening soon, not official, not public, but real. You won't be invited directly, but your name will be the center of every sentence spoken. The discovery they made? It's not just about data, or documents, or history. It's about intention. They found evidence of your purpose. Evidence that you were chosen long before any of them even knew how to pronounce your name correctly. Someone among them is defending you. One voice. Quiet but steady. They've known for a while, and they never wanted this to go public. But now that it's out, they're fighting to keep the message clear, that your mission was never one of manipulation. But someone else? They want you gone. Removed. Erased from the plan. Because your presence complicates their control. You are the variable they didn't calculate, and now the system is failing because you exist too loudly for them to silence. Be mindful of the next 72 hours. This isn't fear. This is strategy. There will be small signs, someone not returning a message, an unexpected silence in a usual place, a sudden change in access. That's not coincidence. That's orchestration. A meeting will be held without you. They will say your name more than once. Some will defend. Some will dig deeper. Some will suggest something more severe. Don't panic. This is confirmation. What you carry is worth disrupting everything for. You were warned by a silent ally. A note left somewhere unexpected. A text you weren't supposed to see. A conversation you accidentally walked into. None of these were coincidences. They were breadcrumbs, laid carefully by someone who wants you to win. You're not alone in this. Even though it feels like a slow-motion unraveling, there's a force protecting you. A force that saw this day before it arrived. A force that placed watchers in every room. Not spies, witnesses. You have time to act. Not forever. Not leisurely. But just enough to choose your next move with precision. This isn't about escape. This is about response. And the way you respond will define whether the narrative turns in your favor. Archangel Michael says, silence is not safety, movement is. There's power in stillness, yes. But this moment calls for action. Don't post. Don't explain. Don't announce. Just prepare. Because when the confrontation comes, it will be sudden, and you'll need to be steady. What they discovered about you? It's not a weakness. It's the secret strength you carried all along. They saw a glimpse. But they haven't seen it all. And if they did, they'd realize they've only awakened the very force they thought they could suppress. There's a reason they're reacting like this. People don't panic over lies. They panic over truths they can't control. And you've become the truth that makes their entire system collapse. You didn't plan to threaten them. But your existence has done just that. Someone tried to delete your name from the record. They assumed no one would notice. But the system logged it. And now, there's a digital trail leading straight back to the one who fears your presence the most. Ironically, their attempt to erase you has only cemented your relevance. A file was recovered. Buried deep. Encrypted. But someone loyal to your cause unlocked it, and what they found inside is the exact reason why you must not back down. That file is the blueprint for your breakthrough. And now they know it too. Archangel Michael says, the higher realms have intervened. This isn't paranoia. This isn't overthinking. This is divine protection in motion. You were shielded when they tried to expose you. You were covered when they whispered against you. And now, you are activated. This isn't a breakdown. This is your breakthrough in disguise. It's uncomfortable because you're shifting. The room got colder because truth entered. But don't let discomfort convince you it's danger. Not all storms are meant to destroy, some are meant to reveal. You're about to be contacted. It won't look like much at first, a name you barely recognize, a platform you rarely use. But that message? That conversation? It's the bridge to what comes next. Be alert. Be awake. But don't be afraid. You were placed here with intent. And no amount of exposure can unchoose you. What they discovered isn't your downfall, it's their realization that they were never in control to begin with. You are the storm. You are the shift. You are the one who bends timelines. They underestimated the silence you held. But now they know. And even though they're scrambling to contain the story, it's already escaped. Your story is loose. Your mission is unfolding. And the truth? It's finally louder than their fear. Stay calm. Stay grounded. The discovery was necessary. It brought the unseen into light. It exposed what needed to be seen. And it revealed you, not as a threat, but as a revelation. One they can't deny, erase, or undo. You've crossed the threshold. What they saw can't be unseen. What they know can't be unknown. And now, what you're about to become, cannot be stopped. Not by fear. Not by whispers. Not by those who waited too long to recognize your worth. The script ends, but your emergence begins now. They didn't sleep that night. Not because of guilt, but because they realized they had underestimated someone who was never meant to be small. Your name, once buried in casual conversations, is now being spoken with precision and fear. The discovery has changed the hierarchy. You flipped something in them. The ones who used to mock, minimize, or manipulate now look over their shoulder. Not because you threatened them, but because your truth holds weight. Power doesn't always roar, sometimes, it just exists, and that's enough to disrupt everything. Someone left the building early. You didn't see it, but security logs did. Right after they opened the file that revealed your connection, your history, your lineage. They weren't supposed to have access, but the one who gave them the password? They had a reason. You were protected. Even when you didn't realize it, someone on the inside made sure there was a traceable trail. So if anything happened, it could be reversed. Your name, your image, your documents, they've been preserved for this moment. You are not hiding anymore. That phase is over. This is not about survival, it's about alignment. And now that they've found what they thought was your secret, you become untouchable. Because truth doesn't flinch when it's finally exposed. They made calls today. To people you used to trust. To people you thought forgot about you. But what they didn't know is that some of those people were waiting for the truth to leak. And now that it has, the support you never thought would return is already moving toward you. There's movement in silence. The kind you only feel when the earth shifts beneath your feet. And that's what's happening now. You are no longer the person in question, you are the answer everyone was afraid to admit existed. They're watching your every move now. Social feeds. Old chats. Access history. This is just the beginning. But none of it can rewrite you what's already been said in this revelation. You don't need to prove anything to become the revelation because the evidence is you. They thought this exposing you would destroy you. It's not about confrontation. But what they didn't expect is that the very act of revealing your truth would make you stronger. The very thing they discovered was never meant to hurt you. You are no longer a silent figure in the background. You're the pulse behind every shift they feel but can't explain. There's a second file. Since the discovery, their energy has changed. More dangerous. They avoid eye contact. Not to you, they hesitate before speaking your name. Because in that file and when they do speak it, there's weight behind it now. Timelines. Because deep down, The full picture of why they're not dealing with a mistake, they're dealing with a movement. It's already being studied in 3 locations. Not for flaws, you don't need but for patterns. Because you have truth. How you truth has a schedule that doesn't miss. How you never broke, even you don't when chase validation anymore. You've become a stand still, and let everything orbit around your awakening. Something they didn't plan Archangel Michael but can no longer retreat. A shadow figure is watching. You were designed to rise. Not with malice. That voice that whispered in your chest last week. They've been keeping tabs on everything. From the moment your file was open to the conversations you were sensing the collapse of their plan. They're not your enemy, and you didn't even know the details. But yet your soul was already adjusted. They're meeting again tomorrow. It will change everything. A closed circle. They hold influence. High clearance. Access. They'll speak low, with devices turned off. And the moment they realize you are not a rumor but someone loyal to your journey, they started already in the room. And they've seen enough. An invitation that only you will understand when it comes. To minimize exposure. You'll hear your name in a place you didn't expect. In silence. A meeting. But what's coming to you? A conversation between people you thought didn't even know you existed. This is divine orchestration. But they do now. And heaven and doesn't bargain. They're referencing your presence as the catalyst. You're going to receive a message at 3:17 p.m. The system is shifting. It won't feel like much at first. And while they're scrambling to adjust, but that message you're already aligned. A number. Because the truth they found. A phrase. It doesn't expose you. A short sentence that unlocks everything. It proves when you what heaven already knew. You were made for this. Feel the shift. Someone tried to sabotage the timeline. You are no longer at the mercy of their permission. Planted digital misdirection. You have been given clearance from small sections of your past, thinking the moment they found out the truth about you, your timeline but they forgot one thing: light always reveals itself. All the delays. That's what's happening now. There's someone who regrets underestimating you. Confirmations. They've been silent for months. Is crashing down on every lie. But today, they opened that same file of your story and realized what they lost and the people when they walked away. They're stunned. They thought they were choosing peace because what's surfacing is what they really did was walk away from destiny. You're about to be mentioned in a broadcast. You don't need them to return. It could be a story. You are not who you were back then. A subtle version of you is rooted, armored. But when it happens, they'll never feel it in your chest. You are not a chapter, you are the entire recognition. The shaking you feel is nodding back at you. It's the system adjusting to your emergence. Because you're no longer running, hidden. You're arriving. Not religious, but recorded by someone who saw unapologetically everything around you. And when they rearrange itself, your name matched. They'll say it was fully spelled. But encrypted in a way only people with eyes this was written long ago. Hidden now they're nervous. Protected because by it's delay. Not just about what you did. Guarded by detours. It's about who you are. And now? And if that prophecy is true, then the moment your light has stepped out of the shadows, they actually activated you. They thought they uncovered your secret. You were always patient. You allowed them to see you weren't in a rush to be seen. Because you're done shrinking. But now that the truth has surfaced, out, you don't ever have to explain yourself again. And that makes you the most powerful presence in every room they walk into. Someone's watching your hands. Because they carry codes. The way you move. The timing of your actions. Even your silence has become a map. A set of coordinates they can't decode, and that's driving them crazy. They keep asking, how did you know? How did you stay so calm? So still? So unbothered? But the truth is, you didn't need to know everything. You just needed to trust the pull. And that pull? It led you here. To the moment where their discovery became your declaration. You're going to receive an offer. High value. Wrapped in kindness. Dressed like a gift. But it's actually a test. They want to distract you, pull you off your path with something shiny. Don't fall for it. You already carry what they're offering. Archangel Michael says, do not exchange your destiny for their comfort. This is a fire season. The old things are being burned away, not to punish, but to purify. The lies they told about you? Scattered. The limits they placed on you? Shattered. They thought revealing your truth would end you. But the only thing ending is their ability to control the story. Your rise won't be loud. It'll be undeniable. Like a sunrise, unstoppable, and not seeking permission. And when it happens, the same people who doubted your voice will be asking for your vision. You are a storm they can't forecast. And they know it now. Still in full English, zero warnings, no type amen, no dark tones. This is pure psychological suspense and power-filled revelation, made for audience retention and scroll-stopping moments. Let's go. The shift didn't just happen around you. It happened inside you. That moment they discovered your truth, something ancient woke up. Not memory, knowing. A deep, cellular recall of who you truly are and why silence was necessary until now. You were never hiding. You were gathering. Energy. Wisdom. Position. While they were watching surface movements, you were rooting deeper. And now, when they look again, they won't see who you were, they'll meet who you became. One of them is cracking. Not because they're afraid of you, but because they knew before the others. They suspected it early, but they stayed silent. And now that your truth is unfolding in front of everyone, they're torn between guilt and awe. They're watching the old footage now. A video from years ago, a moment you thought was forgotten. But in that clip is a key. A small action, a glance, a word, that proves everything. And someone in the room just paused it and whispered, that was the beginning. They're tracing connections. Trying to find out who helped you, who knew you were rising, who fed you strategy without ever being seen. But what they don't understand is that your allies aren't just people. They're forces. Invisible. Intentional. Ancient. A door is about to open. Not physically. Spiritually. The kind of opening that changes timelines. The kind that doesn't knock, it tears through. And once it opens, you won't be able to return to the version of yourself that settled. You're no longer available for small energy. No more pretending. No more explaining. The discovery gave you permission to stand fully in your identity. You are not, almost. You are not, one day. You are now. And the world feels it. They are trying to manage the narrative. Sending quiet messages. Framing the discovery like a misinterpretation. But they're too late. What's been seen cannot be unseen. And the people watching? They're not waiting for a statement, they're watching your next move. Someone powerful wants to meet you. Not to question, but to align. They've been searching for someone like you. Someone who doesn't chase rooms but transforms them. And the moment they saw your name linked to the file, they knew you were the one. You will hear a phrase soon. Simple. Casual. But it will hit differently. It's a phrase that's followed your bloodline, and when you hear it again, your body will confirm it before your mind even catches up. That's not nostalgia. That's ancestral memory. They don't know how to handle your calm. Your silence isn't submission, it's strategy. While they scramble for explanations, you move with alignment. That's what unsettles them. You're not reacting. You're responding from a higher frequency. Archangel Michael says, "You've already won, now just walk through it." You're being tracked through digital space. Not for danger, but for pattern disruption. You've changed behaviors. Your timing has shifted. Your energy hits differently. And those watching the graphs, they know something big is incoming. The final layer of concealment is gone. What was once hidden behind systems, passwords, denials, has now been touched by light. That's why people are calling each other late at night. That's why encrypted files are suddenly unlocked. Your name is triggering truth. They've placed observers near you. But not to report, to learn. You're being mirrored. Studied. Your flow. Your instincts. Your capacity to see beyond words. Because now that the discovery has gone viral in certain circles, you're being prepared for something global. You'll hear your name used in a sentence you never expected. Not slander. Not confusion. But alignment. Someone will say something, and it will land in your soul like lightning. That's the moment you'll realize, you were never late. You were right on time. They want access now. But access is earned, not granted by panic. And you? You're no longer accepting partial alignment. If they don't come with clarity, integrity, and purpose, they'll be left behind by the acceleration that's begun. You're not waiting anymore. You're walking into the fullness of what they thought they could delay. You don't owe them explanations. You don't owe them softness. You are a force now, not a feeling. Their discovery didn't break you. It revealed you. Not just